there's an estimated 5 million Americans moving to Europe each year. Today I'm reacting to one American who decided after 4 years she is not moving back. This has me really curious because I've always wanted to travel to Europe but never really made plans to actually move there, and I'm wondering what it is about Germany in specific that this woman decided she doesn't want to come back to America. Thanks for popping in, you guys, and without further ado, smash that like button and let's dive into the video.
Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know, my name is Zoe Marie and I film videos here on YouTube in the category lifestyle, travel, and fashion. Today's video is going to be 7 reasons why I'm not moving back to the United States. So let's just jump right into this with number 1. So I've been getting a lot of comments from some of my subscribers asking when I'm going to go back to the States or if I'm going to go back to the States, and that's basically the reason why I'm making this video, because from my perspective at this moment in time, I do not see myself ever moving back to the United States. I've gotten a taste of something different, and this is not to say that the United States is, you know, just something totally bad. It's just my perspective and the reasons why I really love Germany and want to stay in Germany or in Europe. So, number 1 is safety. I find the safety here in Germany completely different, obviously, than New York and New York City, but I actually feel as a woman quite safe in general here in Germany. I don't feel like I have to clutch my bag, clutch my pearls every time I'm walking down the street. I generally do feel very, very safe in the streets. Obviously, you know, maybe there might be some stairs. More specifically, if I'm walking at night, obviously you need to keep yourself on guard. I'm not saying drop your guard when you're here in Germany, but I generally do feel safe. I always felt in the United States, especially in New York, because
I'm going to stop her right there. Yes, if you're in New York, it's not safe in New York. If anyone ever travels to New York, there is a lot of crime, but very safe in Germany. I've heard this quite a bit in a couple of different videos and all across Europe and many different countries, but the safety, and I know there is some crime. Everyone has crime, but yeah, for the most part, I heard it's very, very safe, and that is very appealing.
That's where I'm from, that you just have to keep your bag close to your chest. You just have to really look out. It could be different for other US states, but for New York, especially if I go into the city or if I'm just in a little rural area of New York, I just feel like I have to, watch out. And of course, this is not to say that crime and crazy stuff does not happen in Germany. It's just not so big as it is in the States, as it is in New York. Number 2, it's actually quite easy to go back to New York from Germany. Normally I would have a layover, for example, in either Paris or Amsterdam for maybe an hour, and then it's just a 7 hour 20 flight back to New York. So it's not like across the world. It's not like New York is...
She doesn't have to go all the way to the West Coast, which would add like 4 more hours or 5 more hours, so yeah.
So far from me that I don't get to see my parents, and I am quite blessed that I am able to go back to New York at least twice a year to visit family, so it doesn't feel like I'm completely ostracized here in Germany. On top of that, I do FaceTime with my family every day, so this deep homesickness doesn't really take me over. It's obviously there, but it doesn't overwhelm me because I do get the chance to visit my family often. Number 3, Germany is very, very family friendly. I mean, I've never been anywhere where it's just like so family oriented. I've never seen this before, and for me it kind of warms my heart because I do want to start a family, and I would love to start a family in Germany, and the fact that things are just so, child friendly. There's like little grandmas looking out the windows, watching the kids walk home, making sure, everybody's getting to where they need to get to. I don't know, I just feel like to have a family here in Germany, it would be really safe. For example, if I were to have a family in the States, I personally feel like I would never let my child walk home after school or even walk to school. And if they have to because of circumstances, like I have to go to work, I would just be...
I think this is, I definitely in parts of America, you don't want people walking home. That's awesome that like Germany gives that family feeling. That's something that sounds amazing. I mean, we have that here, not kind of. We have it in the city that we live in. But what I was going to say is I think that at least in America, this whole like kids not being out, you can't let them go by themselves. I don't think anything has really changed from when I was a child, which was the 90s. And in the 90s, we would go in anywhere, ride our bikes and walk through the city, and we were just always gone. I think that the risks have always been there and are still there. It's just, it's a generational thing. So the generation that is in Germany is obviously a different style, or not really style, but it's just a different type of generation than the generation that was raised in America, especially with things that, you know, World War II and all these historical events that have happened to certain generations. As the following generations come, we adapt different mentalities as we get older. And for generations here, it's just different. But obviously, I'm not saying that Germany is not safer than America. I'm sure it probably is. I could pull up stats right now, and it's probably going to show me how much more family-oriented and safer Germany is. But yeah, I kind of think I just had that thought, and I had to get it out of me. So let's see what else she has to say.
Shaking because I would be in such fear. I have just seen such crazy things.
I don't want to stop it too much. I've seen this fear thing a couple of times, and usually it's from women, and that sucks that women have this like fear of being in America, because definitely as a male in America, you don't really feel as much fear, but it sucks that she has to move to Germany for her to be able to feel more safe. Like, that's really crappy.
Things happening in New York with missing children and just that whole works. And here in Germany, it's not really a thing like that. You see kids, like little kids walking home, and it's just, everyone understands that it's just a safe environment. It's actually normal for kids to walk home alone, and they always get to their destinations. So I really do love that about Germany. I cannot wait to actually start a family here. The fourth thing why I would not leave Germany.
Hopefully she finds a nice German man and can raise a family there. That'd be awesome. I hope that happens for her.
Is the school system. The school system in Germany is really good, as well as it's free. The aspect of paying for university in New York, you're paying like arm and your leg. That's actually what it costs to go to university. I think it's not right. I personally don't think that you should be paying for an education. I think a lot of things, but the point is, in Germany, you don't have to do that. If you're going to university, you can pay absolutely nothing for university, just the school fees, which could potentially be 500 to 600 euros, but I would pay that 600 euros definitely compared to a 30 grand tuition, definitely. And I think if I have a family and I want to have maybe 3 kids, don't judge me, I want to have a lot of kids, but for example, if I want to have 3 kids and I have to support them through college and pay for their university degree, I would probably go bankrupt, I don't know, or eating rice for dinner, only rice, because I could not afford anything else. It's just so expensive in New York to go to school, and I think I can say this for all of the states, it's expensive for a degree, and here in Germany, that's something that you don't have to worry about. So the fifth.
So yeah, just to kind of like give some thoughts on that, like that's really cool that like you're able to go to university or college completely free. I wouldn't say that I have the idea, or like I think that college should be completely free. I think there should be some cost. Obviously, like you're an adult, you're going to a private institution. It's education, but you are an adult. I think there should be some fees that you have to pay. Otherwise, the funds are probably going to come from the government, I would guess. And that just comes out of someone else's pocket, which for someone like me, I didn't go to college, and the idea of having to pay for someone else to go to college when I chose not to seems kind of, I don't want to say unfair, but you know, obviously it needs to be way more affordable, and that is something that Germany is definitely doing. Yeah, I wonder if she went to college. She keeps talking about New York, and like New York is literally so expensive. So yeah, you want to go to college in New York, you're going to pay, like she said, $30,000 to $50,000 a year, which is insane. And that's why I didn't go when I was younger. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I was like, I'm just going to wait to go to college, and I ended up just going straight into the workforce and decided never to go. And now I have no college debt. So
thing is just going to be the higher standard of living. Every time a subscriber asks me why I would choose Germany over the US, one of the things that I mention is the higher standard of living. Coming from New York, where everything is just so expensive. I mean, it is just ridiculously expensive. I just read this online. Don't quote me on it, but New York City has just been called the most expensive city in the States, outranking San Francisco. Again, don't quote me on that. New York is just expensive, and the standard that you get for what you pay for is so little. You get basically nothing for your buck. and it just makes...
I'll tell you this, if I lived in New York with what I make personally, I would probably be in a closet right now, talking to a camera, and my house would be about 1/8 the size it is, and I would live in the city, and I would be condensed in, and I would have no money whatsoever. So it's all about where you live, but yeah, for sure, if the higher standard of living is better in Germany, she's definitely getting that viewpoint. So all right, let's keep going.
No sense. But here in Germany, you have a higher standard of living, as well as it's affordable. Your whole salary is not gone paying for your rent or your mortgage.
Yeah.
And you can still afford to eat, and you can still afford to go out to dinner, go out with friends. It's all still very affordable. Things are taken care of here in Germany. For example, the roads. This is just a funny story, but my dad and little sister did just visit me. They're already back in the States, but the first thing that my dad said to me was that, wow, what kind of like pavement, what kind of gravel thing are they using on the streets, that their streets are so perfect and always perfect? How does it not get destroyed? And he's only saying that because in New York, I mean, like...
I know why, because you guys in Europe, a lot of countries, you guys fix your roads before they fall apart. But I know some of you have commented before and said some of the roads are pretty bad in certain areas. It's weird because it's like, I'm sure there's also expensive parts to live in Germany. I mean, I have German viewers. Let me know, living in one of the big cities, is that going to be more expensive than living like out in the country of Germany? I'm sure, you know, it's kind of where you choose, but yeah.
New York, shame on you. The streets, shame on you. The streets in New York
are probably
horrible.
Ghetto.
I'm not even kidding. The potholes in New York will literally destroy your car. Literally, if you just drive into one pothole, your whole car could be destroyed. Here in Germany, those things are taken care of. So number 6 would be nature. Coming from Long Island, nature really wasn't a thing in my life. I never really
it sounds like she's got to get out of New York a little bit more. But let's hear what she has to say about the nature in Germany. I'm sure it's absolutely stunning and beautiful.
Window at the forest. There was no forest around me, or the mountains. There's no mountains around me. I never was really in that scene, and I wouldn't say I'm like super in that scene, but to actually live in nature and be surrounded by, you know, mountains and the Alps and things like that, it really just puts me personally like in a peaceful mindset to be able to wake up and see that, or to be able to just maybe walk 20 minutes and I can just walk into a forest or see horses. It really is something therapeutic for me, which I didn't have in New York, and I don't know if I would want to give that up again. You just have to see it and be in it to kind of understand what I mean. So the last point that I want to talk about is traveling. One of the bases of my channel is a travel channel. It's partially a travel channel, and in New York, I mean, it just wasn't working. To travel anywhere, even within the States, it might cost you $1 or $2. But here in Germany, we're like kind of center in Europe, and I find that it's very easy to travel anywhere. It's not that expensive. And since my channel is partially a travel channel, this is something that I, you know, need to do. I need to travel, as well as I love to travel. I want to see new places, but I also don't want to empty out my pockets because I don't have it like that. So I don't want to be emptying out my pockets just to go to northern Germany or just to go to the UK. I don't want to do that. And that's the luxury that I have living in Germany, is that I can travel freely, affordably, comfortably, and still have money to spend in the place that I'm going to, basically. So we've reached the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have anything to add why you are not moving back to wherever you're from, definitely leave it in the comment section, or just leave a comment in general about what you thought about my points. Again, this is just a little disclaimer. This is not to say anything bad about the US. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I hope you guys are staying healthy and safe.
All right, you guys check out Zoe Marie if you enjoyed her video. I enjoyed that a lot. You know, I will say I watched a video. Here, I'll link it straight up here. I watched a video about a man who moved to Portugal, and he gave me some reasons, and his video was very convincing of why I would want to move to Europe, and I was like completely blown away by it. Hers it was cool. The arguments aren't really something I would be able to take just because she was so stuck in New York. She got to get out of New York. She got to visit other places inside the US to be able to say that like Germany is better than New York. Like for sure, 100%. I would never live in New York. So still, I enjoyed the video a lot. I appreciate you guys stopping in. If you enjoyed my video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.